So nobody really talks about this season where you're not really who you used to be, but you're not her. You're not the person you're becoming yet either. I call this the wobble. Don't ask me why. One day I said it, it stuck. It is what it is. But when I was looking at this in between phase and I was like thinking about the wobble, I said, well, the wobble isn't really the problem. It's just a signal that you're starting to shift. You're entering a season of your life where you're shedding that old identity. And if that's the season you're in, don't feel bad about it. Don't stress about it. It is what it is. We all go through them probably multiple times during our life. And I believe in this moment, you need to just sit still and figure out in that old identity what isn't working. So for years, probably my entire life, I was like this powerhouse. I knew how to get things done in my personal life and in my professional life. I was the strong one, the powerful one, the dependable one. I knew how to show up. I knew how to be present. I knew how to check, 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 get it done. Let's move on to the next one. Well, in this season of my life, that check, 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 let's get it done. Yeah, it don't work. It ain't serving me. I don't want to do it anymore. I want to slow down, smell the roses, take it in, rest a little bit. Some days I just want to sit on my ass and not do anything. I'm not trying to be in that Energizer bunny mode, just doing, moving, moving, moving. Yeah, no, I'm too old for that now. In this season, it's like, okay, slow down, take it in. What brings you joy? Like the lens that I'm looking through, things have shifted. And since things have shifted, that version of me, she can't come on this journey where I'm going. That version doesn't fit anymore. That identity, it won't align with where I am at this stage of my life because there is a lot to be said about just being present and enjoying the moment and not always thinking like two steps ahead of how you're going to work it out and what it's going to be, of me seeing the A to Z and trying to stay on that and not being as flexible as I'm making a conscious, intentional choice to be in this season of my life. So I watch a lot of YouTube videos about manifestation and identity and things like that. And there's a lot of talk about embodying and, sitting down and seeing yourself in the life that you want to live as if you're living it now. But I don't hear a lot of talk about this in between season, the wobble. And in that season, nobody tells you that we're just evolving into a different version of ourselves. And in order to go to that version of ourselves, we have to let go of the older identity that can't continue on the journey because there's not enough space for the old identity and the new identity. One of them got to go. One of them got to go. So if you want to continue on the journey, headed towards the vision that you, or the life that you've envisioned for yourself, you got to let the old one go. You got to shed it. And that's the first step in the 3-part series, is shedding the old identity. A mindset shift of it's okay to let that part of you go. It's okay to let the new identity take the lead now. So for me, on my self-discovery journey, I had to start reframing my thoughts that my life wasn't falling apart. I wasn't reaching rock bottom. I wasn't failing. All of these things that people, myself included, sometimes associate with periods of our life where it doesn't look anything like we thought it would look at this stage. But it's not the case. I had to reframe everything as wisdom, that all of these things came to be collectively, all my experiences, and now at this stage of my life, I have wisdom, I have experiences to pull from. I have teachable moments that I'm like, okay, this didn't work. Why didn't it work? I can use that in order to move towards what I want. I can look at what didn't work and say, okay, don't do that shit again. I could recognize that a survival mentality was not going to get me the life that I wanted. That in order for me to have that life, I was going to have to let this newer identity take the lead, the one that was willing to make space for possibility, to open up myself to the possibilities out there and not, as I keep saying, be so rigid to a plan, but to be flexible and say when things present themselves, even if they don't present themselves as you thought they would show up, be open. Be open to see what can become of that if you allow yourself to say yes. So that powerhouse version of me that I was talking about, she was born out of the fact that I'm very independent, and I still am. And I had always taken care of myself. But I had to learn how to let go of being so in control of my own life and slow down and reset. But most importantly, I had to learn how to receive. I think that sounds like an easy thing to most people, but to me, it wasn't. Giving probably came easier than allowing to myself to receive. Now, if I need something, I don't have any problems reaching out to somebody saying, can you help a sister out? But I think the issue came with if someone saw that I needed something and they offered, I had a harder time receiving what they were offering. The energy was different to me. Now, logically, that probably makes no sense. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. But it's how it is. It's how it was. And I shouldn't say it's how it is. This past year, I have been more open to receiving. And it's definitely a mindset shift. So it's not a weakness, and I am very much aware of that. But there was resistance to it. That's all I can say. But I'm aware of it now. First step. And becoming aware of that pattern as well as other ones and just circling back to the same patterns over and over again in different seasons of my life. And then expecting that I'm going to evolve into this identity that can step into the life that I'm envisioning. That wasn't going to work. Like I said, she can't come. That identity and this identity, they can't coexist. So I have to honor what that version of me brought to the table. And I have to be thankful for that she got me this far. And then I have to release her and step into the new identity. And I think that takes some time. It's not an easy process. It's not a quick process. Journaling through it, like I said, for me, walking, my meditation, all of these things will help get you there. But the first thing is you got to be aware of it, and you have to identify the patterns that keep showing up. Because until you address them, especially if they're not serving you, they'll keep presenting themselves in a different form, but they'll be the same pattern. And I think when we're in this self-reflection phase of our self-discovery process or self-awareness, whatever trendy word you want to associate it with it, we have to show ourselves grace. We can't be hard on ourselves because even with our own stuff, like you start to put up resistance towards it if you start attaching all these negative labels to that process. So just allow yourself to go through it, to see what patterns are showing up over and over and over again, and how can you reframe those into more positive experiences. Like for me, like I said, I need to be curious. People say I move a lot. Well, I don't know if I do or don't. But when a place that I'm living in, it no longer serves me, it doesn't light me up, yeah, I feel like I want to move on. I want to try something different. And as I mentioned before, I moved to Atlanta over the summer. It's a new city, it's a new experience, it's a new season and chapter in my life. I don't feel like because I decided to move to Vegas 10 years ago, that because of that choice, I got to stay there because I made that choice 10 years ago. I don't want to be there anymore. I did that. It's done. Now on to something new. And I think we have to embrace that concept. Just because you make a choice and a decision, yeah, give it time to play out. But if it's not working, don't feel like, oh, what people are going to say because you decided to do that and it didn't work out. It's not about perception from the outside. It's about you. It's your life, and you have to look at what's working for you and what isn't, and don't stay stuck because of what you think the chatter is going to be. If you need to move on, move on. Like I said, for me, moving on, it involves exploring, being curious, and trying it on to see if it fits. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. So the first step in this three-part series, as you can see, is identity. Identifying the old identity and the things that don't work in order to move on to the next phase. So there are two more steps in the process that help you in your becoming her journey. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you're notified the next time that I record a video. In addition, if you feel like you're in this phase or this season, I created this inner mirror quiz, and it's a small journal. Depending on where you come in, the quiz is what part of the journal you'll use, but it helps you to identify what season you're in. Because in order to move forward, you have to know where you are now. And sometimes just, we're in our own head, or maybe we're just having problems, or we're struggling to say, this is where I am. So it's a short quiz to maybe help you see what season of life you're in to help you move on in your becoming her journey. I'll see you in the next video. Next week is Thanksgiving, so part 2 should drop next week, but if not, the following week.